Look, okay, I'm a big believer that when you shoot weddings, every single thing that you bring with you needs to be able to fit on your persons, in one bag, in your hands, just like this. So today, we're gonna go through what exactly is in my wedding day gear bag. So if you can't see, we got 3 bags here. Well, 2 bags and 1 camera. I've got this, which is my tripod bag, which has my lighting, my tripods, and yeah, just lighting and tripods, and that's about it in there. This is the Peter McKinnon 35 liter best camera bag for wedding videographers by far. And then, you've seen this a couple times on the channel, but this right here is my wedding day rig. And honestly, I don't rig up on the way to the wedding or at the wedding. I rig it up at the house before I go, and I carry it in just like that. That way I'm ready to rumble exactly where I need to be. So we're gonna go through exactly everything that I bring to a wedding. And we're gonna start first with my tripod and lighting bag. Now, this bag, I've gone through the lighting kind of setup before on this channel, so we're gonna run through it real quick right here. Fairly simple. This bag, I'll link everything below in the descriptions because I recently opened up an Amazon affiliates link and made my first 22 cents last week. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. So if you care to get any of this gear, please use those links because I've only made 22 cents so far and it'd be cool to make more. So this bag I got on Amazon. It's a no-name brand bag, but I like it because it's short. You'll see that because all of my tripods, which the tripods are the Ulanzi/Komen brand with the new fluid head tripod. I've made a big video about these. I love them. They're lightweight. They're super affordable as far as that goes. In here, I've got 3 of these tripods. Then I've also got 2 of these Ulanzi lightweight carbon fiber light stands. These are also fantastic because they're lightweight. And when it comes to weddings, you need things that are just lightweight. Up next, I've got 2 of these lights that are already in here with a V-mount battery ready to go. But these are the Amaran 60X lights already ready to go on a light stand. I simply just pull up to the wedding, put these on a light stand, turn them on, get them where I need, and we are ready to go. So I've got 2 of these in this bag, and then 3 tripods, 2 light stands, and that's all she wrote. That's everything you need in this bag. And the cool thing, I've spent a lot of money on this setup. I've spent a lot of time kind of getting this setup smaller and smaller and smaller because we film a lot of weddings where we're driving across town. We're in 3 or 4 different locations. We've got the ceremony at this church over here and the receptions over across town at this spot. And being able to carry everything in just one simple tripod and lighting bag has just been a game changer. Because if you're carrying around big separate bags for each of your lights, big separate bags for your tripods, or if you're the Justin Porter Media type where you've got a whole van for all this stuff, like I have no idea how the logistics work on a wedding day like that. I want to be able to put everything on my back if need be and just run the whole day. If we don't need to be, then I can just bring this one bag right here into the ceremony spot, leave it for the day, and be set up and ready to roll. So this right here, I'll walk in with this bag right in my hands. Up next, briefly, I'll talk about the camera rig. This is a Sony a7S III. We've got a small rig V-mount battery. We've got our microphone, and we've got a Portkeys LH7P that I've been actually loving a lot recently with the 35 to 150 Tamron 2 to 2.8 lens. I love this setup, and something I've been doing because this setup is just, it's not a pain to break down, but I just don't want to break it down. I'll keep this setup fully intact, fully together, and I will walk right into the wedding day with this in my hands, ready to go. That way, if I'm walking up to the venue and I see a cool shot, I can get started before I even introduce myself to the bride and groom. I can get started before anything happens. And that way, everything's just ready to roll, and I don't have to worry about breaking it down ever, putting it into a bag, getting my camera bag together set up. So I've just been carrying this rig around. Easy. Next up, we're going to talk about the big boy, the Peter McKinnon 35 liter. This is the best bag for wedding videographers. Why? Because it's solid, it's stable, it just holds everything. You put it on your back if you need to. I absolutely love it. So we're going to go through and talk about what we got going on here. But first, key secret. This is a water bottle holder on the side of the bag. Do not put a water bottle in here because you know what this is spot is for wedding videographers? It's for your bug spray. This is off, clean feel, insect repellent. I buy it by the 5-pack. It feels good on the skin. It's fragrance free. It doesn't stink, doesn't smell. This stuff has been a lifesaver. Working weddings in the South, there's something called gnats, sand gnats. They get everywhere. They get in everything. You wear a little bit of dabby of this, good to go. But that stays constantly in my water bottle holder, and I absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and dive in. Woo. Fully loaded down. This is exactly how I would load it for a wedding day. So we're gonna first start with this section up front. There's this little laptop sleeve holder in here, and I use this as kind of something that we don't really have a section for. So in here, it's a deep section, which is great. We've got 3 different cables and some variable ND filters. So first off, these are the Peter McKinnon Polar Pro VND. I don't know if I'd recommend them. They're fantastic ND filters, but they're very expensive. And the problem is I like all of my cameras to have the same look. So we have a bunch of them. But if you think about all the money that I spent in ND filters, I have no idea if it's worth it. So maybe a cheaper ND would be nice, but these are very, very incredible. Up next, we've got simple XLR to XLR, XLR to 1/4-inch cable. These work well for audio recording and things like that. And that's all that's in this deep laptop sleeve. Up next, this first pouch right here, we've got some goodies in here, all right? First, we've got about 6 or 7 of these just Sony batteries, just in case. Typically, a second shooter will run through about 3 to 4 batteries in a day, and then my third camera will run about 1. So we're great with 4 to 5 batteries, but if I've got the extra room, I'll load a couple more in there. Something that we don't do is bring battery chargers to weddings. I just don't do it anymore. I've left far too many battery chargers plugged into far too many walls at far too many venues across the South to ever have to worry about bringing a battery charger to a wedding ever again. So we charge it up before we leave, and we don't bring a battery charger to a wedding of really any type. So in here, I've got 6 Sony batteries. Also in here, we've got some extra AA and AAA. And these AA and AAA are just rechargeable batteries. They're EBL brand, which I've had great luck with in the past. I think they're fantastic. We run those for our Zoom F3 recorders, for the H1Ns, for anything that takes AA or AAA, things like that. And up next, a little secret sauce in here. Yeah. Something that I love. I'm getting old, and these are just basic earplugs. Sometimes when you have bands are loud, and you typically need to stand right in front of a speaker to get all the good shots for the dance floor. And so I just said, screw it. I'll just start buying earplugs, bringing them to the wedding, and just letting it roll from there. So that's what we've got in this first pouch. This next pouch, this is kind of like a junk pouch. Things just kind of randomized in here, and we'll go through it. So first, I've got a good old RCA to 3.5 cable, just in case I ever run into a DJ or a sound guy who was like, oh, I've got an RCA out because I'm from the 70s. Then we've got a cable that's ready to roll. Ideally, this should be an RCA to XLR, but it's fine because I'll show you how I've got my Zoom F3 set up a little bit later. Up next in here, this is just a little wind muff for the Rode mics. I don't even know why this is in here. I rarely use it. We can put it across the H1N every now and then. Here is extra SD card case. We've just got a couple extra V90 SD cards as well as some adapters and fun things like that. So it's always good just to have a couple extra cards just in case you need it. In here also is a mic sleeve for the Rode Wireless Go or Rode Wireless Pro. That way you can mount it to a microphone just in case you need some backup audio. This is a great source just in case you don't really trust the system. Again, this is an XLR to 3.5 for the Zoom F3. I've got another one actually that stays on the Zoom F3, but I guess this is an extra one. This will go great if we ever have that RCA connection where you need a 3.5 connection. So that is everything I've got in this little top section here. From your ND filters, your 2 audio cables, your camera batteries, your earplugs, your AA batteries, and then all of your extras in here. Now let's get to the good stuff in the actual camera bag. All right, I'm gonna start on this side and kind of work my way to the top because, well, there's things in here that I think are important. Number one, this is a Zoom H1N. This thing came out in probably 2016, 2017. It's an old piece of technology. But as you can see on the back here, this rubbed off label that says 4. We have 4 or 5 or 6 of these because they're just fantastic audio recorders. Way back in the day, I used to use this as my only lav mic. Nowadays, I use them for any sort of string quartets, any sort of ambient audio that I need for the ceremony. It's just a generally good backup lav mic just in case anything goes wrong with my other options here. So moving right along with audio recorders, this right here, my bread and butter, my gold. This thing has been 10 times worth the investment. I've made a whole YouTube video about it. The Zoom F3 is just the lightest, the smallest, the best audio recorder for wedding videographers out there. If you shoot weddings, you need to get good audio, you need to get a Zoom F3. It's just simple. The technology in this is insane. So in this same section, we've got a little extra Tamron 70 to 180 lens. I love these lenses because as a wedding videographer, we have a lot of 70 to 200-ish lenses, and affording the G Masters is just a little too much. And these Tamron lenses are cheap, they're fantastic, they work really well. Honestly, I love them. And when it comes to weddings and just having an extra long shot for a ceremony, it is so worth it. So that's this section. That's how this section stays. H1N, Zoom F3, 70 to 180. Now, moving on. This setup right here is my second shooter's camera as well as a third angle for the ceremony. So second shooter's camera is going to be right here. This is a Sony a7S III with a 24 to 70 Sigma 2.8 lens. Now, this will typically get an ND filter, like in the top of the pouch here, and then it'll get a microphone, which is actually on this side of the bag. So this is how a lot of my second shooters love to shoot, with just handheld, simple setup, microphone on top, easy as that. And that's the whole entire second shooter setup, typically. Every now and then we'll have some guys that like to shoot with full monitors and things like that, and if that's the case, all power to them. Right here, I've been bringing this lens along to a lot of receptions recently because it has a very, very good look. With a lot of our lenses just being 2.8, this is a Sigma 35 1.4 that just gives me those buttery bokeh backgrounds for reception detail shots and different shots like that. It also has this adapter ring on it for an ND filter, just in case. I pretty much keep adapter rings all adapted to 82 millimeter in all of my lenses, just in case. So this lens, we pull it out rarely, but when we do get to pull it out, it's fantastic. Moving right along, this little section right here is holding another small rig 99 watt hour V-mount battery. Typically with the 99 watt hour batteries, I get about 5 to 6 hours of use out of it with my A7S camera and that 7-inch monitor. So this battery I'll typically put on just before the reception, maybe right around the ceremony time, and it will last me throughout the rest of the night. Up next, we've got another Sony a7S camera. This one is already allotted with a 70 to 180 because guaranteed this one is going to be a third camera for the ceremony. Maybe in the back, maybe on the side, wherever we decide to use it. But I like this setup because with the 270 to 180s plus the Tamron 35 to 150, I've got 3 long lenses and then 2 to 3 wide lenses as well. I say 2 to 3 as in the 35 to 150 can be a wide lens, the 24 to 70 can be a wide lens, and then this 35 can be a wide lens. So with whatever ceremony setup we go to, I've got the reach for 3 tight lenses and I've got the reach for 3 wide lenses. Easy as that. All of your areas are covered. Fantastic. Up next, we've got this tiny little sliver of a section where I kind of keep like random extra things. So this is just a step-up ring. This typically stays on one of these 70 to 180s, but I think it was pulled off. It's just a step-up ring from a 67 to an 82. That way it can be used with our ND filters. Now, here is a tiny little Sony microphone. I like to keep this in the bag. This thing's easy. Obviously, I think the Rode mic gives you a better quality, so this is typically on a lot of our second shooters cameras, but this extra Sony mic is great for a third camera, great for anything that we might use it for. Now, moving along to the front of this bag. This is the Rode mic. It's a fantastic mic for our second shooters. I'll use it sometimes if I need to. It's great. It's powered by the camera. Love it. Into this section, we've got our Rode Wireless Pro. This I've made a couple videos on. I love the Rode Wireless Pro. They are our lav mics for all wedding ceremonies and even some backups for speeches. They just break down really small, really tiny, great battery life, 32-bit float. It's just fantastic. So in here, this is a little deity case. In this deity case is two of what I love is these Deity WLAV microphones. They're absolutely tiny. I've made a video about these before. There's actually 3 or 4 lavs typically in this case, just in case we need a backup, some different mounting things and things like that. But the WLAV micros, great lav mics. And of course, right here we've got the newest addition to the crew, the DJI Mini 4 Pro. This drone is tiny, this drone is lightweight, this drone has its own screen, which is awesome. You don't have to use your phone anymore. If you're shooting weddings or just anything on the go, this drone, honestly, it's fantastic. Before that, we had a Air 2, which the Air 2 was not very much bigger, honestly, so it didn't really make too much sense to be any smaller. But also, this one just has incredible range. You can send this thing miles down in the middle of the city and not even be a big deal. So that's exactly what's in my wedding day gear bag. What I didn't cover was under this camera here, there's actually an iPhone charger, just in case you need to charge your iPhone, and then actually a USB-C charger as well, just in case you need anything USB-C charge. Most of the time I use that to charge my phone, and then the USB-C charger rarely ever gets used, but if we're ever traveling or out and about, it's nice to just have an extra one in this bag that stays in this bag. So other than that, if you close this section and we flip it around to the very front side, this whole entire front section of this bag is pretty much unused. I mean, if we open this up, honestly, I don't even remember when the last time I was in here, but I've got like a random laptop charger from one time when we were traveling, and then a random long iPhone cable from one time when I didn't have my iPhone charger. I was in a hotel and I had to buy a 10-foot long cable at a gas station. We've all been there. And then a really short, just USB-C to USB-C cable for anything like hard drives or anything like that. And then a random just power brick. I haven't been in this section of the bag in a while, but if you're ever using this bag to store clothes, it's kind of what it's made for, but really it's just kind of an extra storage just in case. And then this tiny little section here is where I keep business cards in a little business card case. Yeah, business cards, love them or leave them, and if you do, whatever. And very last but not least, we have ourselves an Apple AirTag. Why is this in here? I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool to get on the app and see where your camera bag is. I guess just in case it might get stolen, it'd be cool. Really, I just had a 4-pack, and I said, hey, my camera bag is really expensive. I would hate for that thing to get stolen and me not be able to find it. So with all that, all of the links to all of this gear is in the description below. I would very much appreciate if you're going to buy any of this, if you're looking at buying any of it, if you're like, oh man, that's a cool piece of gear, click on those links below, and hopefully I can get some affiliate money from those, because we're certainly not making any money on YouTube yet. Been posting almost a year now. We've got incredible goals of this channel. Ideally, the goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know if we'll make it. We'll see if we'll make it. But honestly, I'm just going to keep creating content and keep interacting with people in the comments. So yeah, leave a comment down below. I will 100% respond. And if you're looking for other videos of mine, YouTube is recommending you 2 videos right here across the screen. So click on one of those videos and I would appreciate you guys watching it. I will see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.